Yeah, and overall, I think I'm very impressed with what the devs have been cooking so far, especially considering that I have never played World of Tanks before, and I'm not a fan of Battle Royale games. I'm a Tekken player. I am a fighting game player. So for me to move from Tekken and fighting games, where a lot of my stuff is in control of me, to move on to Battle Royale, that's a big step, and I have to recognize that. I really have to recognize that, right? Yo, what's good, y'all? I've been playing Steel Hunters now. I've been playing the beta, and I've been enjoying the hell out of it. It's a really fun game. It's very refreshing too. So I wanted to go ahead and give y'all a review of how I've been feeling about the game, right? So, y'all stick around. I hope y'all enjoy, and hopefully y'all get to a little bit know more about what Steel Hunters is, right? So for those that don't know, Steel Hunters, it's been a beta that we've been playing for around 3 or 4 days now, ever since it was released from the Video Game Awards. And when the game was announced, it visually looked very appealing. And after signing up and getting my hands on it, I'm here to give y'all my overall impressions of so far with the current build that the devs have given us, which is the devs are from the World of Tanks, right? So, and I've never played World of Tanks before. So throughout the beta so far, I've been using Weaver. So I use a lot of my examples will be used from Weaver's perspective, which is the hunter you're seeing here on the screen now. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so let's just get into it. Let's just talk about the game and let's just see how it is. And yeah, let's get going.
Level 3, don't get distracted because there's the level 4 and the other level 4s are here.
Yeah, they're fighting. Alright, so Steel Hunters is a refreshing take on the Battle Royale genre, starring 7 so far that we know of, 7 hunters that are 5 to almost 10 meter tall mechs. After an event known as a Mega Day that occurred in the year of 2067, it is said that the old world is now gone. However, that birthed the idea of the hunters. In order to save civilization as they know it, they uploaded their souls into these mechs in order to be more combat effective and to harvest a valuable resource which is known as Starfall. So, starting off with the introduction of the game, it presents a very straightforward tutorial and does what it needs to do to get you playing. After the tutorial, I immediately jumped into the Starfall harvest mode to see what that was about. Firstly, when I actually started to play the game, right? Firstly, I love the weight of the mechs. That you could almost feel that on the mouse and keyboard. I don't know how they did that. I really don't know, but they did it and it feels great. And also, you can clearly see the scale of the hunters by comparing them to the average buildings and streets around them. And, you can just really see how massive they are, right? These buildings, these streets, even like there's a roller coaster, like an amusement park in one of the maps. They just look small compared to you, and you get that's how you remember, like, oh man, these are really big machines, right? Let's see. Yeah, so moving around the map, I think it doesn't feel bad at all. Jumping in the game does feel a little janky, unfortunately. It hurts even more when you use one of your dash resources to jump just to miss the landing even though you were just close enough. So like sometimes you have to like climb ledges, and if you don't hit the jump or the inertia just at the right moment, you'll waste a whole dash and you have to go all the way around. It's really annoying. I wish there was some sort of mantle system. Maybe they jumped a little bit higher, maybe they floated a little bit easier. I don't know. The jumping system is a little bit weird, right? But yeah, traversing around the map doesn't feel bad at all, regardless of the jumping mechanic. You get to where you need to go in a decent amount of time. As well, there are teleporters in the game, but I have yet to use or see one. I think my very first match, I was a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of objectives and the sense of the overall flow of how a match is supposed to go. But thankfully, after 2 or 3 games, I was able to gain the hang of it. Starfall Harvest is the PvPvE mode, and that is the Battle Royale mode where you have to survive the arena by gaining resources to level up your hunter that appear throughout the game in the map, which are called they're called battle towers, right? So a lot of these resources drop off from these battle towers where you have to go and capture them like objectives, right? Like kind of like capture the flag or like domination, but don't think of like where you have to stay in that zone, right? You capture the zone, you get your resources, and you dip, right? So you have to survive the arena by gaining those resources to level up your hunter, and they appear throughout the map. They're also guarded by drones, which also drop valuables, right? So you get to battle in between your bigger battles, right? So you're not just running around the whole entire time. Your hunter does have access to 5 levels within a match, and as you level up, you gain new access to some abilities which are locked before below level 3, right? Such as the minigun for my Weaver, right? I don't have access to my minigun until I'm a level 3, right? They also add to your main health and shields, so acquiring these resources are very important due to the fact that if you run into enemies that are higher level than you, you are already at a severe disadvantage. As well, you can pick up cores which are ID'd by like a different shape, each one adding to your shields, health, and damage, all supported by different color varieties indicating the rarity and power of the cores, right? So you have the common, which is like gray, green, blue, purple, orange, right? Very, very common color schemes for to depict what kind of rarity these cores are. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of the first part of the match is bulking yourself up to prepare for the real battles down the road. But this take on the battle royale genre, in my opinion, is actually really, really refreshing. It's offering a lot more strategy compared to other shooters where, at least to the way I remember it, and even other regular shooters like COD, it's more about whoever gets the first shot and you pretty much already won, right? Whoever gets the first shot, it's trying to get over that life lead in a game that's fast-paced usually doesn't really work out. But this game is a little bit different, and I really, really appreciate that, right? So regarding battles, battles can feel a little bit drawn out compared to your typical shooter, but the tension of those battles combined with the mechanics accompanying the game is when the game, I feel like, really, really shines, right? Because abilities, they have to be used wisely. Every bullet counts. Even your positioning alone can make or break a battle. A lot of big brain plays can actually work out, and it's extremely satisfying knowing the work you put in to take an enemy down. Really, really just shows. It shows when you go ahead, you put the strategy in there, and you're like, yes, I got it. I got the enemy team. We're gonna be moving on. It's really, the fights are really, really, really good, you know? Now, yeah, with this being a beta, there have been some quality of life issues that I have been experiencing so far. So what are these experiences, right? First big one is the frame drops that appear to happen consistently. Now, and I'm running an RTX 3070 with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I have been able to play really graphically demanding games with no issues in the past. So for this game to be struggling is a bit of concern. Now, I'm sure this is because it is the playtest, right? And during some areas, especially when there's a lot of destructible buildings, drones, and other players in the same area, my frames will drop as low as 8 frames per second. And that does make playing this game during the most crucial moments very rough to play. And it's also come to my attention that, like, I'm not even the only one dealing with this, because I wasn't even going to say anything if it was just me, right? Because I'm like, okay, I probably just need better hardware, right? Because it is a beta. It's probably not optimized well, but apparently this is kind of a thing that happens across the board. Another issue that I'm having is some of the balancing direction of the game. Again, this is a beta. I'm probably going to be saying that a lot of the time, so just keep that in mind. But again, this is just what I've experienced in the beta, right? Because this is the build that they gave us, so I am kind of taking it as it is. So this is all subject to change. However, some of the hunters appear to have abilities that feel very, like, advantageous in situations, and now of course it's clear that some hunters, right, may have advantages over others, right? Because that's why you chose them, and maybe I like to play this way compared to how this other hunter plays, right? But some of the key issues relate to abilities like Ursa's armor, like the bear armor, like Weaver's chip damage, and Trenchwalker's health system, and even Razorside's shield system and stuff like that. Like, certain parts of the game feel like you're battling something over again, or it's really, really hard to fight through, right? So what do I mean by that, right? So let's talk about Weaver's ability, right? First of all, Weaver's ability has chip damage, so if you get enough shots in an opponent, he starts to input chip damage, and that's cool. The chip damage itself isn't a problem. However, if you land enough hits, and we're back in a situation where, especially for Destiny players, if y'all remember this, we're back in a situation with the Thorn where you could 3-tap someone in the Thorn, walk away, and then that's it. You know you kill them because they just don't have enough health to regen from the chip damage, right? So we have that issue here with Weaver. There's been plenty of times where if I get enough shots in, they would run away, and they would run away for a hot second. It's not just like, oh, I got them by like 30 HP and that's it. No, they have a couple hundred HP. And they would run away, and the chip damage would still kill them way behind cover, you know? And I've also been on the receiving end of that. And I just feel like we're at a point where I feel like chip damage shouldn't be killing like that. At this point, it should be draining you to 1 HP, right? So, and that has made a really big, it's been a big factor when it comes to the abilities of the game, especially when abilities have to be used when you're not taking damage. So that makes it very, very hard. And I understand that's part of the strategy of chip damage, right? It inhibits you to kind of recover faster, but it's just a little bit too strong, right? So that's regarding Weaver's chip damage, right? And we talked about how it should just bring you to 1 HP, right? We also talked about Ursus's armored ability. That's the bear character. I honestly feel like when it's used in, I guess what I imagine would be the right way, right? But the right way means that when it's used, it feels like a tank just dropped down in front of you after you worked so hard for all, like, gaining the regular shields off, because remember the Ursus has more, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name, I believe she has more shields and she also has more health, right? So on top of having more shields and more health, you could just press a button to get your armor, and then boom, you have an armored, buffed upped version of your shield, basically, or something that just, even my ultimate, or my main big ability for Weaver, which is the minigun, I would use a whole mag, the whole cartridge, the whole everything, and it would barely do anything. Like maybe around a quarter of a health, half the health, if I'm not team shotting with someone, right? That's huge armor. It just makes him practically invulnerable, right? And lastly, we can also talk about like Trenchwalker's healing abilities. I understand he has like the combat medic of the game. However, his healing abilities, with him to be able to heal teammates and himself, yo, I can't lie, there were moments where I felt like I was battling him for like 5 minutes, 8 minutes straight, because he just would not die. He had some sort of way to heal himself. He had some sort of way to keep himself alive, and it was to a point where I was like, yo, this is getting borderline frustrating, right? And because of that, that also leads on to where a sense where some of these battles can last a while. Can last a while. And with that being said, you're actually losing out on really key objectives, key battle towers, and by the time you get done with that battle, you're actually way behind compared to the rest of the team, right? So compared to the rest of the players in the match, right? So those are some situations I have. So again, it's a beta, subject to change. Hopefully we'll see some good changes, some quality of life changes that happens there. And then like moving on to the revive system, I do enjoy the fact that I'm able to get back in battle with my friend a lot faster, especially when I don't have to wait until the next game, right? But while you're waiting to respawn, you could also offer bonus abilities to your partner while they're battling. So while you're spectating, you can give them abilities like healing over time, damage buff, or defense buff, giving them a fighting chance, right? My only thing is like the healing one, which is like I think everyone uses, it just heals, just like stack to the point where it's just full health again. That makes it very hard. So on top of, like, for an example, if you have Trenchwalker and his teammate is down, his teammate can give him health regen, and then he can heal himself, if I'm correct. That's about 3 times. That's a lot of health you can regen, right? So a lot of these battles can take a while to actually battle, and it almost more is it winds up being more of a negative effect to the game, right? And especially how the way you need to progress and how this game mechanically works in the Starfall Harvest mode, right? Yeah, so 1v1 situations can feel really hard, and to the point where it's really time consuming. And if the circumstances are right, in those 1v1s, both teams can revive in the middle of the fight and essentially reset the encounter. I would love the idea that maybe you can revive your teammate within an enemy vicinity. You can't revive your teammate within an enemy vicinity, right? Or if the mechanic that, you know, you can't revive yourself while your enemy or your teammate is under fire, maybe hopefully that's a bit more aggressive next time, because there's been plenty of times where I've been able to drop in right next to them and then just help my teammate out, you know? Yeah, and then, you know, just too many times an enemy will run away just for their partner to spawn right back in after eliminating them. If this is the direction, though, you know, I understand. Maybe I just need a readjustment on my end, right? And I'm cool with that. Right? But yeah, so just moving on to, you know, basically the mode back itself, Starfall Harvest. Starfall Harvest. Can y'all say that 5 times straight? Say that. Starfall Harvest. Starfall Harvest. Anyways, wow. In between matches, or towards the end, towards the end, the match is won by the last team standing, or who captures the extraction zones towards the final phase of the match. So you can actually just win by capturing the objective if you could defend it long enough, or simply just eliminate the opposing teams. Each one potentially giving a different flow of how a match can go, right? In between matches, You can level up your hunters too, which is progressed, which is progresses. It's earned during matches, right? And I think that's pretty dope because you have a whole other set and a whole other like trees and building to do with your own mech in between matches, right? So I think that's pretty dope. Each hunter has their own skill tree catering to their abilities, which are unlocked by leveling up your hunter. So a lot of these abilities are already unlocked. You just don't have the mods unlocked, which kind of do like passive or other special abilities, right? And they offer more damage, unlocking mods or passive abilities, and you could choose the direction of each, right? So talking about progress, you have what appears to be 3 different accounts to level up in this game, which is like your hunter level, then your account level, then your battle pass level, right? So your account level is let's see here, close to level 4. So your hunter level is what focuses on the progress of each specific hunter, and you only level up your hunter by playing that hunter specifically, to my knowledge, right? Account, then you have the account level, which is progressed by leveling up your hunter and unlocking more hunters, right? And then you have the battle pass level, which is earned by generally playing the game and completing daily or seasonal missions, right? All things that which help you progress as a player, all offering different things such as credits, skill tree points, other valuable resources and such, right? So as you can see, there's a lot of layers on how you could play within Steel Hunters and how you progress and such, especially too with each character, right? Yeah, and overall, I think I'm very impressed with what the devs have been cooking so far, especially considering that I have never played World of Tanks before, and I'm not a fan of Battle Royale games. I'm a Tekken player. I am a fighting game player. So for me to move from Tekken and fighting games, where a lot of my stuff is in control of me, to move on to Battle Royale, that's a big step, and I have to recognize that. I really have to recognize that, right? I'm not a fan of the battle royale genre though at all, and you know, the devs really took the time to give us layers and substance with their new project, and it's really showing. Even despite some of its flaws, these are things I can easily look over, and it doesn't primarily affect my experience having fun with Steel Hunters, right? With how well designed each hunter is, to displaying their actual characteristics, giving each hunter life, than it just being like another robot controlled character. Like, these characters can talk, and they show their characters within their machines, right? Because remember what I said before, these are people that were uploaded to these machines. They're not just robots, right? You know, especially with the combat feeling very crisp in this game too. Like, and for it being a beta, you know, I have very high hopes for this game, and I definitely will keep this game in my library when it's available. I highly suggest y'all give this game a try if possible. The beta does end the 22nd, so get your hands on it while you can. And yeah, just sign up. Do so. Highly recommend it. And if I see y'all in the battlefield, happy hunting. Other than that, I hope y'all appreciated this little review. I'll be live on Twitch for most of the remaining time for while Steel Hunters is up, so y'all join me there. That's going to be twitch.tv Noah_Slice. I'll put it underneath below as well, within the description or in the comments. And then yeah, I hope y'all enjoy. I'm gonna keep playing this game, and I highly recommend you do too. But other than that, I'll see ya. Peace.